Hello there and welcome to this presentation. And today I'm on how to simplify your design workflow using Tekla structures as your design tool. It is always important to find ways of doing things a little bit faster and efficient. I'm Maurice Dimba, and please join me by subscribing to this channel and we'll get started right away. If you take a look on the screen here, you can see a very simple fuel station canopy. So what I'm going to do is to convert this into a simple macro, and I'll be able to save it under applications and component as part of my library. So this is the point. If you work in a very busy design office and you've pointed out a number of structures or components being ordered frequently by your customers or clients, what you do, select or collect all those components or structures, convert them into a simple macro, and save them under applications and component as your library. So whenever one is requested, just pull it in, modify it to match the size that has been requested, because it is always important to always start ahead of time. That is how to improve your productivity. So let's do this. I'll do a demonstration how you can convert this, even if this is your first video you've bumped into and you've not watched the previous one that I tried to do a similar thing. So we want to convert this into a very simple macro and save it here. This is a simple structure. So let me just come to navigate here and try to rotate it like this. I'll rotate this, and this is a 8-leg fuel station canopy. So in this particular case, maybe I need 2-legged and 4-legged and 6-legged. So I'll create all these and save them under applications and component here. So whenever one is requested, I'll be able just to pull it, or if there's a variance or a difference with the one requested, I'll be always starting ahead of time, and I will not waste a lot of time trying all the time to start from scratch. This is the secret I'm trying to share with you on how to be more productive in a very busy design office. So let me just minimize this, and I'll come to navigate here, and I want just to place it into a position that I'll be able to see it clearly, and you also. So I'll come to applications and component. I'll come to applications and component right here. So once you are here, the first step you must do is just right click and come to new group. Just click on new group right there and come to component, custom component. Right there, just click OK. So once you've done that, the next step, you come to this button here, Return Access Advanced Features. Just click on that, then come to Define Custom Component. We want to define this as a component, and we want to save it once we've defined it on how we can place it on our grid line. Then we'll save it here as our library component. So whenever we want it, we can always pull it in and modify to match the current design that has been requested. Now let me come to custom design here and click on that. So once I click on that, this will bring this custom component wizard, page 1 to 4. So in here, under types and notes, I'll click this drop down arrow and select what I want to create. I want to create part. So I'll come under name and describe whatever I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create a fuel station canopy, right there. I leave it like that. Don't go to more details, just leave it like that. So if I come right there, you can see we have a problem here, and this is not active. Our button is not active. So let me just try and delete that and give a short description. So remember, if you give a longer description, you see all this button will be grayed off or they will be inactive. So try to give a shorter description of your component or part. So I'll come to fuel station here. So I'll just type fuel station right there. So maybe space 01. So I'll click next. So if you come closer here, if you read this, you'll be able to get the instruction given to you that in the model, select objects that will form the custom component. So we need everything to define the custom component. So we will have to select everything here. We select everything right there. So this is what we have as of now. So we'll go ahead and click next. So the moment you click next, you'll see another instruction given to you that in the model, select one or two positions that will help you place this model in any position within your working area inside Tekla structures. So we can pick this point, midpoint, as well as a single position. So instead of picking two, we can just pick one. So let's pick the midpoint here. So I'll pick the midpoint right there. So I'll go ahead and click finish. So I'll give it some time to process that information. So we are there and it has been picked. So you can see, if you mouse over this, you can see everything is getting selected, which means Tekla is now reading this as one component. So what I'm going to do, I'll come to applications and component on my right here and scroll down and try to track the description that we typed in that wizard page 1 to 4. So I'll scroll down here and try to get that name. It is here, fuel station 1. So instead of reading this orange or yellow thumbnail, we want to change this to reflect or to match the image of this particular structure. So I'll just right click inside here. So instead of that, you only right click if you've created the thumbnail ahead of time. So in my case, I had created that. So I'll also show you how to create that if this is your first time seeing whatever I'm trying to explain. So I'll come to thumbnail here and I'll click add thumbnail and I'll pick my thumbnail in one of these. So I'll go step behind and try to do the same thing. Explain to you how I arrived at extracting that simple image of a fuel station. So let me just turn this into a position that I'll be able to see it clearly and click on empty screen to deselect whatever has been selected. Let me just redraw that to remove any active macro. So what I did, I just placed this into, I tried to have an elevation of this simple structure by double clicking here and changing all this to 0 and click modify, apply and accept that. So I have this in place. So what I want to create an image of this and replace it with this default one so that it will be easily seen, or it will be easy for you to access it and pull it into your working area. So I'll come under view here, then come to screenshot. I'll click on that drop down arrow and pick the first one, the screenshot. I'll click on that. So this small window will come up here. I'll place it into a position that it will not block me in performing or defining a window of my screenshot. So always maintain this radio button checked, print to file. Print to file means if you create a screenshot, it will be placed inside the folder of this particular structure under screenshot. So once once you've checked on this, always go to render view, click on options right there. So under this, make sure and always check white background. Once you've done that, just go ahead and click apply and give it an OK by clicking the OK button right there. So once you've defined your screenshot frame, I'll define it by clicking pick my view. I'll define this window. This window will define our snapshot area. So once you do this by holding your left button on your mouse, then release it at a position that you think it's okay to define your screenshot. And I'll now leave it right there. So once I've leave it right there, I'll come to capture. And you'll be able to see a screenshot has been created. So to get this screenshot is very simple. You come to folder here, and come to C drive, and come to Tekla structures model. So scroll down to this file name, petrol canopy 1. So we'll go to P somewhere right at the bottom end here, petrol station, this one here. I'll double click on it. So in this particular case, I have snapshots. So always look for screenshot folder. So in my case, I have snapshots. So I'll just double click on that and scroll all the way to the bottom end here, and I'll get my image right here. So I'll double click on it, and I'll get this in place. So what you do, just crop it and place it in the position that it will make your image more pronounced or more clearly seen. So in this particular case, I'll do that and drag that and click save the copy. So once I save the copy, you can see it jumps to my default folder where I save my images. Now I'll give it a different name. Now I'll give it FT11. So I'll save it right there. So I'll go ahead and close this and close everything here and close this now because you don't need it anymore. So we'll come back to fuel station canopy. This is our simple macro, and this is our component that has been automatically included under applications and component as our library. So whenever we need a structure similar to this, we'll be always pulling this and taking it into Tekla structures working area, and if what is required matches the measurement we have here, we'll just generate drawings from this or modify it to match whatever has been requested. So I'll right click here and come to thumbnail. So once this dialog box of thumbnail comes up, I'll come to add to thumbnail. I'll go to my image here or any of this. I'll pick this one this time round. I'll pick on that and come to open. So you'll see two images here. The default one, which calls built-in, will uncheck that. So once you've unchecked that, the moment you uncheck it, you'll see automatic thumbnail appears here. So this is the image we want to see whenever we are looking for a structure similar to this inside our library, and this will make your work very easy. This is the best secret I'm sharing with you if you want to improve your productivity and generating drawings very fast, and that's very important for your development in a very busy design office. Now I'll close this. So once I've closed that, we want to try if this simple component and within our library works. I'll come to rotate with mouse and navigate with mouse and navigate. I'll try to rotate this. So I'll come here and place this that similar component maybe in that position. So once you've clicked in that position, because we gave it just one point of placement, we'll just give it some time to process the same information, and our canopy will be placed here right away. So you can see it's slightly close to the previous one, what we'll do, we'll just delete it once it has been created, and shift it slightly off the original one. So just give it some time. So our simple structure has been placed within the working area we expected to be on, but it is slightly close to our previous one, which is slightly creating some clashes. It is actually clashing with our previous one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to delete all of it like that. And let me first of all disable these objects in the component. I'll disable that. Then I'll come to fuel station canopy in that simple macro and try to this time around place it slightly away from our previous one. So let me place it right here. So here we are, and we have our canopy in place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to interrupt, right click and redraw, just to remove any active macro. So most of the time what you'll face here is any part that you use a macro to create a weld, such things will appear. So that's what I was trying to share with you, that you always start ahead of time. So if you find yourself in a situation like this, that the weld you created has been slightly messed up with, what you do, you just come here and you modify it as you modify this particular structure to match whatever you want as of now. And in any case, this structure matches whatever was in need. We just modify this and generate your drawing. So in this particular case, you can see the weld is not properly done or has been slightly tampered with. So what we are going to do, we are going to rectify this. This is now, you're slightly ahead than starting from scratch, and that is the trick and the secret I thought of sharing with you, and it's very important to note. Now I'll come to applications and component, and this time around I'm trying to use weld. I want to place weld on those sections that have been left out. So always come to weld here, and we want to bring back our weld. We want to weld that to that, and see your weld is just working properly. So if you come here and you want to weld that to that, you'll always see this one is easy to handle than easy to handle than starting doing this same structure right from grid line. It is a total waste of time, and it's actually killing on your productivity, and you will be on spot on for being lazy and non-productive, and that is very dangerous for you. Now I'll come to stanchion, and I want to weld that, and I want to weld that to that, and I want also to weld this to this. And this is how you handle this. I'll redraw, and that will go away. So always start ahead of time and others, and this is a trick, and I think you should master the trick I've just shared with you, and it is very important to selecting or collecting all or the components and structures that you've identified that are frequently used or being requested by your clients. Save them as library components under applications and component, and whenever one is requested, just pull it in, then modify if need be, and generate your drawings. And this will take you will take a very short time to do that. And I think if more, it should take you maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour if more. And that is very important if you monitor if you try to match your time and your output. So thanks a lot for watching this video, and if this is your first time in watching, if this is your first time and this is your first video you've bumped into, please don't forget to subscribe. I'm Morris Dimba, and let's meet them. Thank you.